Smith and Shacklock connect ideas of 21st century learning to institutions constructed after World War II. From the Bretton Woods Conference, the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund were constructed to help Europe recover from the devastation of war. Hudson reveals these institutions were put in place to manage loans from the United States to Europe. The U.S. wanted other nations to be able to afford U.S. exports. These institutions gave the U.S. political distance as they acquired diplomatic power over foreign policy by having nations in their debt. This power over social policy through debt resonates with Freire's views on oppression because it gains influence over local resources with the promise of greater rewards from the controlling organization or nation.
Freire describes a system through which an oppressor, a person, or institution uses influence and/or coercion to control the behavior of others, offers needed resources or information, and so keeps control over what people require for success and survival. Freire refers to this as a banking concept of education in which educators control the flow of resources and the methods of acquisition under the precept of helping children learn. The apparent humanism of caring assistance covers up the very negation of the child's ontological vocation to be more fully human.
Nikiforok shows how economists pushed the expansion of education by promoting the idea of education as the cultivation of human resources, contributing to economic growth. Given the demands of science, technology, and consumerism, economists argued, the industrial world needed more schools to produce higher wage earners capable of inventing more things to buy. The enticement toward education for greater earning potential and purchasing power further pulled the concept of learning away from self-development and into education for economic and social advancement.
Jacobs declares this cultural acceptance of a debt economy as a reaction to the Great Depression when jobs and, therefore, the means to socially legitimate survival were scarce. One of the results of this was a change in the role of education from an investment that society makes in the next generation to an investment that students make in themselves. This requires that I, as a student, view myself as a socially viable commodity given value by my ability to produce and to build the economy by acquiring goods and services. This increased emphasis on my personal market value as denoted by my purchasing power, with money, or credit, was embedded deeper into the system of education as public schools and universities began applying the lessons from profit-making enterprises that turned expanding markets to advantage by cutting costs. Jacobs referred to the drive to produce more people with greater purchasing power as credentialing as opposed to education. Jacobs notes that increased output of product can be measured more easily as numbers of credentialed graduates than as numbers of educated graduates. It is this economic aspect of influence from the culture of acquisition that resonates in demands for increased credit completion, higher grade point averages, GPA, and improved graduation rates in an efficient passage of time. Getting through the curriculum for credit completion develops the hope for a higher credit score.
While these economic changes serve to embed influential aspects of the culture of acquisition deeper into the waters of educational influence, other social factors ripple through educational reform. Section 2 explores some of those social influences and discusses how they may lead to a paradigm shift in educational purpose.